Coming up on Look Today, well, the Angels at Lakeshore Gallery in Bolton Landing celebrates its ribbon cutting ceremony, and we were there. Plus, Adirondack Day took place at the Saratoga Race Track. More on that coming up. And crime rates in Saratoga have decreased. I've got those details. All ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson. This is Look Today. In tonight's program, I sit down with Richard Gervais and Jay Van Vranken. Now they're members of the Racing City Chorus, and they're here to talk about their barbershop quartet called the Elderly Brothers. And I sit down with Max Urenda, he's CEO and Executive Director, Double H Ranch, and we're joined by Jeffrey Wutica. Now he's a co-owner of the Mansion of Saratoga, and they're here to talk about a very unique fundraising event for Double H Ranch, which is happening tomorrow. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, the Angels at Lakeshore Gallery in Bolton Landing celebrated its ribbon-cutting ceremony today. Now, the ceremony was sponsored by the Lake George Chamber of Commerce. Now, the gallery features angelic art by Irish artist Lorraine Coffey. Now, the owner of the gallery, Beth Tiger, and her family support the Durga Tree International Bloom Program, which seeks to empower survivors of human trafficking. That's quite something. Now, we were at the event, and we spoke to Beth. She's the owner of the gallery.
When I get off the plane from wherever I go, Calcutta, Thailand, Guatemala, or even in Jersey and some of New York, some of the really bad areas, the first thing I do is come to the lake. My husband and I have been coming up to the lake since we started dating. We were married at the Sagamore. We dream of retiring up here eventually, but the healing waters of Lake George have always renewed my spirit, and we felt that the Angels needed to be in a sacred or really special place.
We wish Beth and her family best of luck with both endeavors. In other news, well, Adirondack Day took place at the Saratoga Race Track. Activities, exhibits, and entertainment highlighting regions of the Adirondacks took place at the Berkshire Bank Saratoga Pavilion. Well, we were at the track and we spoke to Erin Coons. She's Assistant Tourism Coordinator, Warren County Tourism Bureau.
Today, NYRA is celebrating the Adirondacks. So they've collected all of the different Adirondack counties, and we've each got businesses to sort of showcase what it's like to travel in the Adirondacks.
Boy, between what the Lake George Regional Chamber does and what tourism does, they got it covered. Switching from news to weather. A mix of overcast skies and sunshine. Well, tomorrow's expected. It might even clear up a little more. So for a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser with your first look weather forecast. High pressure control for much of the Gulf of Mexico state. There's your cold front boundary making its way through New England, parts of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. That's going to take Hurricane Gerda off to sea. High pressure coming in from Canada, moving into our area. But we got to pay attention to this warm front boundary impacting portions of the Midwest, and this cold front boundary making its way through the southern plains and portions of the central plains as well, and high pressure right behind it. That's going to be our next weather maker for our viewing areas. Lows tonight generally in the 50s, especially lower 50s across much of the Capital District. A few isolated spots, especially at higher elevation, could see overnight lows only in the 40s. And some spots like towards, let's say, Johnsburg and Pottersville, only mid 40s. We'll see mostly clear skies. 51 in Glens Falls for the overnight low. Northwest breeze at about a light 3 miles per hour. Some patchy fog could form in our forecast. Sunshine high of 78 degrees, and we'll be in the mid to upper 50s, perhaps lower 60s as you walk out the door. Mostly sunny skies, a mild start through the AM hour. We'll see high temperatures generally in the mid to upper 70s for our Thursday, and then 75 degrees on Friday with a 70% chance of storms. 81 the afternoon high with a 30% chance of storms as that cold front passes, and then we'll warm quickly back to the mid 80s by Monday of next week. And then after overnight low of 59 degrees, that's a look at the first look level forecast. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser. Now let's send it back to you, Jesse.
Thanks, Clarence. Well, weather is looking pretty good. Back to the news. Here's a story you don't hear very often. crime rate in Saratoga has decreased, according to a report made by Commissioner of Public Safety Chris Matthiessen. Now, the crime rate in Saratoga was discussed last night at the City Council meeting. Now, per that report, the chances of becoming a victim of a violent crime within Saratoga is now 1 in 397. When we were at the meeting where Commissioner Matthiessen spoke.
The crime rates in Saratoga Springs, our crime rates are down not because of the efforts of the Commissioner of Public Safety, if at all, very, very indirectly. It's due to the efforts of our police department, who do an excellent job in keeping our city safe, and we can be very, very proud of their work. And if anything, we need to make sure that we understand how important the police department is, so that we can keep our crime statistics as low as possible.
Yeah, I'll second that. Now remember, you can watch the Saratoga City Council meeting in its entirety, uninterrupted, unedited, right here on Look TV every single week. Now check for the schedule online at looktvonline.com. All right, up next, I sit down with Richard Gervais and Jay Van Vranken. Now they're members of the Racing City Chorus, and they're here to talk about their barbershop quartet, the Elderly Brothers. Great interview. Plus, I also sit down with Max Urenda. He's CEO, Executive Director, Double H Ranch, and we're joined by Jeffrey Wutica. He's a co-owner of the Mansion of Saratoga, and they're here to talk about a very unique fundraising event for Double H Ranch that's happening tomorrow. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. I had a couple of lookouts. My wife and I went up to Lake George Village last night for the opening night of the Lake George Music Festival. It was at this beautiful old church built in the 1800s right downtown Lake George. The place was mobbed. We saw Alex and Roger, wish them luck, listen to a beautiful piece of chamber music featuring the clarinet. It was really something. Now, a reminder, it's every single night, somewhere around the Lake George region, the Lake George Music Festival. And while I'm at it, a reminder, this is the last week of orchestra at SPAC, and it's a great week. Please go on the lawn, bring your family, bring your friends, and have a great time. Lawn attendance is way up, we hear, and people have a good time on the lawn. Remember, art is language. One other thing. Kerry Werner was in today, Assemblywoman, 113th District. We taped Beyond the Headlines with Mike Lenz. They had so much to talk about, we actually broke it into 2 shows. First time that we've done that. So watch for that. The premiere will be this weekend. And I also want to mention D.A. Collins, the family of companies right here based in Saratoga, are underwriting Beyond the Headlines. So thank you for your support. Last but not least, that interview today I had with the Elderly Brothers. The barbershop quartet was just so much fun. So the other 2 guys were here, and he decided to sing to take us out. So that's what we're going to do. And I'll see you tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Here are the Elderly Brothers.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.